Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So we continue with the next chapter of our curriculum. So now we're moving on to the third of the 4 ism properties. So we've already discussed the status and gender, and now we will discuss number, al-adadu. So isms have singular versions, they have dual versions, and they have plural versions. So we mentioned that in Arabic, dual and plural are separated, unlike English. So the single and dual are fairly easy to recognize, and they're shown below in the Mu'minin chart, which we've been through a few times before. So just to go over it briefly, in the masculine chart, so the first one, the singular for Rafa is Mu'minun. So we look at the ending sound, which is the last harakat on the last letter, just to determine if it's Rafa, Nasab and Jar, if you remember. So Mu'minun, Mu'minan and Mu'minin. And then for the dual, it's ending combinations because extra letters have been added. So Mu'minan, Nani is the Rafa, Mu'minaini is the Nasab, and Mu'minaini is the Jar. So it's fairly easy to remember. And the feminine chart, again, the extra ta, mabuta is added. But the base of Mu'minun is still there. It's just the last letter Noon has got in the singular version, it's got a fatha in each case. And so you got Mu'minatun in the Rafa, Mu'minatan in Nasab, Mu'minatin in Jar. And when we talk about the dual, then we're talking about ending combinations because extra letters have been added to the end. So you got Mu'minatani, so you got the Ani extra, which is Rafa, and Mu'minataini, which is Nasab, and Mu'minataini again for Jar. So there's 4 plural types. So there's one, the first one is called the sound masculine plural. The second is the sound feminine plural. The third is a broken plural, and the fourth is a plural by meaning. So the sound masculine plural. So sound literally means the original makeup, meaning the original singular version of the ism does not change. Only extra letters are added at the end. So we can see that in the table below. So the original base ism, the base word, remains the same. Only extra letters are added. And so when that happens, we call it a sound plural. But specifically for sound masculine plural, it's only used for humans, angels and jinn. And if you remember from before, it can be used for a group including males and females. So you can use the sound masculine plural if you have a group of men and women. So an example here is the singular is Mu'minun, but the plural, if you look in each case, the base, the singular Mu'minun is still there in each of the plural, whether it's Rafa, Nasab or Jar. The only thing that's been done is that extra letters have been added to the end. So that's why we call these plurals sound plurals, because the original base is still there. So the Rafa would be Mu'minuna, so we just added a wa and a noon. And the Nasab is Mu'minina, so the ya and the noon have been added at the end. And Mu'minina again for the Jar, and the ya and the noon have been added. So when we just add words to the original singular version, then that's called the sound plural. But whereas, as we will mention after, a broken plural is when the actual original singular version completely changes to form the plural. So we'll show some examples after. So if you move on to the sound feminine plural, which I mentioned before, so the original base will stay the same, only extra letters are added to the end, and that's why it's called the sound plural. But in the case of sound feminine plural, this refers to beings with intellect, such as humans, and inanimate objects, such as the sky. So an example is Mu'minatun, which means a believing woman. That's the singular version. So if we're talking about plural, the base will still be there. We only add extra letters at the end. So for the Rafa is Mu'minatun, so the alif and the ta and added, and the Nasab is Mu'minatin, again the alif and the ta has been added, and Mu'minatin again for Jar. So as I mentioned before, the broken plural, the original makeup of the ism, so the singular version is broken, meaning it actually looks different now. So the base doesn't stay. It actually the word changes completely. They actually look like singular words. So if you look at them and you don't recognize them, you might think that they're singular. So there are some patterns followed when an ism becomes a broken plural. Otherwise, the broken plurals must be memorized in order to recognize them. So there are some patterns that are followed where you want to convert a single into a plural, a broken plural. So there are some patterns, but the majority of the case they have to just be memorized. So here's an example of some common broken plurals. So if we start with the left side, so you've got if you look at the singular version, which is zawjun, which means one of a pair. So zawjun, and then azwajun would be the plural version. And then imra'atun is the woman, but nisa'un is the plural version, women. And fa'adun is the emotional heart, and af'idatun is the plural version, emotional hearts. And then on the right side you have ni'matun, which is a singular blessing, and ni'amun, which is a plural meaning blessings. And you can see in each case the original singular version actually changes. So you're not just adding extra letters at the end, there's more going on. That's more obvious for the woman version. Imra'atun becomes nisa'un, so it's completely different. And then shahidun, which is witness, and then you have shuhada'u, which means witnesses. And then nabiyun is the singular for prophet, and then anbiya'u is the plural for meaning prophets. And then one of the notes we make is that broken plurals can be fully flexible and partly flexible. So they can be fully flexible and partly flexible. Broken plural with an alif in the middle, usually partly flexible, such as anbiya'u. So there's two here actually in the table that you can see. The one is shuhada'u, so that you can see that it's a plural and it has an alif alif in the middle. So that's why it's partly flexible. That's why it's light, it's not heavy. It's not shuhada'un, it's shuhada'u. And same thing with anbiya'u, you can see that there's an alif in the middle, and that's why it's partly flexible, and that's why it's light and not heavy. So and the next group is plural by meaning. So these are isms which refer to a group, so they are considered plural. So some examples, khasmun is an argumentative group. So even though you might be talking about a singular group, but because you're talking about a group, they're considered plural. Unlike in English, where we would consider, like one group, we would consider them single. But whereas in Arabic, they consider them plural. So jundun is an army, it's still considered plural. And qawmun, a people, hizbun, a group, alun, a family, nasun, a people, and qarnun, a generation, a'lun, a family. So in each case, in English, this is considered singular, but in Arabic is considered, when we're referring to a group of people, they're considered, it's considered a plural. So now we look at plurals in Arabic grammar. So all non-human plurals are treated as single feminine. So non-human plurals include non-human feminine plural and non-human broken plural. Sound masculine human plurals are treated as plural masculine, and sound feminine human plurals are treated as plural feminine, and plural by meaning is treated as plural masculine, and human broken plurals treated as plural masculine or single feminine. And humans, it always refers to humans, angels, and jinn. So whenever you see, humans in terms of grammar, in Arabic grammar, it refers to human, angels, or jinn. So we'll have some examples here that kind of explains this in a little bit more detail. So if we start with the first one, that all non-human plurals are treated as single feminine. So this example is as-samawatu khalaqaha. So it means the skies, he created them. So as-samawatu is a non-human feminine plural. It's non-human because we're talking about skies. It's feminine because if you look at the ending combination at the end, it's got an alif and a ta, just like the feminine ending combinations for plural. like mu'minatun, just like that. And it's a sound plural because the original word is still there, only extra letters have been added to the end. So it's a non-human feminine plural. And then the words halakaha, which means he created them. So the attached pronoun ha represents the skies, the as-samawatu. It actually represents the skies, as they are considered single and feminine, just like the attached pronoun is single and feminine. So you see in this example that the as-samawatu is considered single and feminine, and then the ha, which is attached to halakaha, which means he created them. So that ha refers to the as-samawatu, and it refers to it because it has the same, it's single and feminine, just like the as-samawatu is considered single and feminine. So here we go, another example, niyamun halakaha. So which means blessings, he created them. This is what it means. So niyamun again is a non-human broken plural. So it's a new non-human because we're not talking about people, so it's a non-human. It's broken because the original single version the makeup of it has been broken in order to produce the plural. So it's not like a sound plural where extra letters have been added to the end, so therefore it's broken. So it's a non-human broken plural. And non-human broken plurals are treated as single and feminine, whereas the rest of it, which is khalaqaha, which means he created them. So the attached pronoun ha represents the blessings, the niyamun, in the example, as they are considered single and feminine, just like the attached pronoun ha is considered single and feminine. And remember, the original independent pronoun is hiya, which is singular and feminine, and the attached pronoun version of hiya is ha. So the next example is, we said that the sound masculine human plural is treated as plural masculine. So here we got al-mu'minuna khalaqa hum. So the believers, he created them. So al-mu'minuna is a sound masculine human plural. It's sound because the original single version is still there, which is mu'minun. Only extra letters have been added to the end. So it's not a broken plural, it's a sound plural. It's masculine because if you look at the ending combination, it's a wa and a noon, which is connected to masculine. And it's obviously human because it's talking about believers. So it's a sound masculine human plural, which is treated as a plural masculine. So if you look at halaka hum, the attached pronoun hum represents al-mu'minuna, the believers, as they are considered masculine and plural, just like the attached pronoun hum is masculine and plural. So they both match. And the independent pronoun version of hum is hum, which refers to plural masculine. So if we move to the sound feminine human plural, this is always treated as a plural feminine. So you have the example al-mu'minatu khalaqa khunna. So the believing women, he created them. So that's the meaning of that. So al-mu'minatu is a sound feminine human plural. It's sound because the original mu'minun single version is still there, and only extra letters have been added to the end. So it's not broken, it's sound. It's feminine because of the ending combination, the alif and the ta. So it's feminine. And obviously it's human because we're talking about believing women. So it's sound feminine human plural. And then halaka hunna, the attached pronoun hunna represents the believing women, the al-mu'minatu, as they considered feminine and plural, just like the attached pronoun hunna is feminine and plural. And the original independent pronoun is hunna as well, because it's hunna and the attached version is hunna or hinna, but in this case the hunna is used. So plural by meaning, so these are always treated as plural masculine. So for example, al-qawmu khalaqahum, the people, he created them. This is what it means. And we mentioned before that al-qawmu even though in English that's considered singular, like one group of people, but because in Arabic you're talking about a group of people, they say even if it's a single group of people, it's still considered plural, and that's what plural by meaning means. So al-qawmu khalaqahum. So al-qawmu is plural by meaning, and khalaqahum, which means he created them. The attached pronoun hum represents the people, al-qawmu, as they are considered masculine and plural, just like the attached pronoun hum is considered masculine and plural. The next one is human broken plurals. These are treated as either plural masculine or single feminine. So it can be treated either way. So the first example, we'll treat it as a plural masculine. So you got al-anbiya'u khalaqahum. So which means the prophets, he created them. So al-anbiya'u is a human broken plural. It's human because we're talking about prophets. Because anything, when we use the word human, it refers to human, jinn, or angels. So in this case, obviously, we're talking about human prophets. It's broken because the original nabiyun, the original singular version has been changed completely. It's been broken in order to produce the plural. So it's not like a sound plural where we just add some extra letters at the end. So it's a broken plural. So khalaqahum, which means he created them. So the attached pronoun hum, it represents al-anbiya'u, the prophets, as they are considered masculine and plural, just like the attached pronoun hum is masculine and plural. Or, like I said, human broken plurals can also be treated as single feminine. So in this example, we'll treat them as a single feminine. So al-anbiya'u khalaqaha. So the prophets, he created them. So the meaning is still them. You won't say the prophets, he created her. You won't say that because the ha represents the prophets, which is a group. So you would say them in English when you translated it. So al-anbiya'u, again, human broken plural. And khalaqaha, so the attached pronoun ha represents al-anbiya'u, as they in this case are considered single and feminine, just like the attached pronoun ha is single and feminine, and the original independent pronoun is hiya, and the attached version is ha. So the human broken plural can be treated as a plural masculine or a single feminine. Then at the end, we've got some questions. So we want you to identify how the following isms are treated grammatically. So you've got a key and you've got a table with words. So you have to decide whether the gender is masculine or feminine. Which type of plural is it? Is it sound masculine plural? Is it sound feminine plural? Is it broken plural? Or is it plural by meaning? And how is it treated grammatically? And then we've got the answers below to see if you're right or wrong. And as per usual, we always advise that always take a look at the vocabulary list chapter at the end of this book. This ideally should be reviewed at the end of every session this curriculum is studied, so that your Arabic grammar knowledge increases with your vocab knowledge, inshallah.